Howdy, friends, and welcome to another episode of the 7-Day Boogie. It is I, your host, the Boogie Man himself, here to bring you all the 7-Day Boogie action that you crave. Whether you listen to us every week or it's your first time here, I want to say welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Give it a like or a subscribe on whatever platform you are boogieing on with me today. And let's get started. How do you follow up a legendary series watch-a-thon like we just had with Tremors, right? I'm into this watch a series of movies and rank them kind of action that I'm going through right now. So we're going to keep that rolling. We're going to stay with the movie series rankings. So I am moving on to a series of movies that I consider a blind spot in my movie watching history. I like to consider myself pretty knowledgeable well-versed in the action horror genre. And this is a series of movies that I straight up did not pay any attention to as a kid. Growing up, seeing the trailers and stuff, it just something for one reason or another. I think I was actually too scared. As a small child, goth stuff really freaked me out as a kid. I liked scary stuff growing up, but like Victorian goth type stuff really freaked me out and still does. But now I embrace that and I seek it out to challenge my own fears. So the new movie series that we're going to be talking about is the Underworld series of movies. Intense vampire versus lycans, which are werewolves, but we're going to call them lycans because that's what they're called in this and most universes, but we mostly know them as werewolves. But the vampire versus lycan storyline, classic. How will it be told in the Underworld series? It will be told via leather outfits, from what I understand and have grasped from this first movie. So that's right, just like the Tremors series, we're going to be blasting through the Underworld series over the next couple weeks. There are 5 of them. We're going to watch them all. We're going to rank them among themselves. And then we're going to kind of have like an ending synopsis of how I felt about the whole series. So take a moment. We're going to pause for a second and go watch the first Underworld movie and come right back. We'll see you in a sec. Welcome back. I hope that you had a gothic great time because I know that I did when I watched Underworld last night. So let's do a quick recap of the first movie, what kind of vibes we're catching from this series, and what we're looking forward to for the rest of the series. Mild spoilers just in the nature of describing a movie, but we're not going to get too deep into the lore because it's confusing. We'll pick up more and more as we go along through the series, but the first movie had a lot going on. So the general plot of the first Underworld, from what I understand, is we pick it up hundreds of years, centuries into a war between werewolves, lycans, and the vampires, sometimes called the Death Dealers, but I think that might just be like a cool subset mercenary faction amongst the vampires. It was also kind of late when I was watching this movie, so I may have faded in and out a little bit on the finer details. But I swear to you, I will be wearing a frilled shirt and be deep into the lore by the end of this series. So we catch up. We experience the series through the eyes of Celine, played by Kate Beckinsale, a very cool vampire assassin who I am pretty sure his main goal is just hunt down werewolves, kill them. Right? We kind of start the movie with that. She's on like a response team investigating and trying to battle against the lycans. From what I understood, whether you're a lycan or a vampire really is up to what kind of leather jacket you're wearing. Because all the vampires have like slick, futuristic, Matrixian leather jackets, like black leather, very sleek, very futuristic, like duster. There's a lot of like as people are turning around corners as they're vampires. And then if you're a werewolf, obviously more of a rustic, brown leather, rugged aesthetic for your leather jacket. But it must be a leather jacket. Maybe a couple lichens have like fur-lined leather jacket. You can really, what a cool way to differentiate the species immediately is this type of leather jacket organization that they have going on. Because what if you pick up something from a thrift store and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a lichen versus vampire war, and now you're on a bus with a bunch of werewolves talking about techno and like why all the vampires suck. So that's pretty important. The beginning starts with that kind of like a pretty cool fight scene. The lichens can kind of change in and out of being a werewolf on command, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of, you know me, I love the practical effects. Some pretty good like practical effect werewolf costumes in this, and the classic like my hand is expanding and growing claws type of stuff going on in this movie. So in the midst of that first scene and the first conflict, there are some lichen deaths, there's some vampire deaths, and Celine finds out that the werewolves' lichens are doing science now, and they have sunshine bullets that are bad, and they kill the vampires really quick. So they have to come up with something that's going to kill the lichens just as quickly. And they're ramping up their styles in this war. In the midst of that fight as well, Celine kind of notices that they're after someone. So they pull back some of the footage for the fight, some of the CCT footage from the fight, and they realize that the lichens were after somebody. Why? Why could they be after this hot guy? One of the vampires, while they're watching it, does just say, like, it's a really grainy picture that they show of the guy that the lichens were after. We come to know him as Michael. But one of the vampires, while Celine is doing this, like, research, is like, dang, he's kind of hot. And then Celine is immediately like, he is really hot. And then so she's in love with him now, which is I'm going to say it, superfluous plot point. I don't think in the middle of a war between vampires and lichens that you could just think a guy is hot, and then that is the most pressing issue. So Celine then basically tries to hunt down the hot guy, figure out why the lichens are after him, and meanwhile uncovers a plot that could change the direction of the whole war. There are elder vampires involved. There are lichen leaders that you thought were dead but are not dead. There are vampire traders happening. There are a bunch of vampires that are just goth and hanging out. Okay, let's go back to the differences between the two types of goths in this movie. The lichen goths are warehouse goth, right? They're like chains and cement, and they're doing the like rave dance type of goth. In my opinion, slightly more fun goth, right? They're like into music. They've got crazy hairstyles. They like spar. There's two werewolves just fighting each other for fun in the dungeon rave homestead of the lichens. The vampires are like literature goth. They are curtains and velvet type of goths, frilly shirts, an important style of goth. I'm just saying if I were to choose between the two, I would again, leather jacket wise as well. I think I look better in like a bulkier leather jacket with like the Leon Kennedy fur around than I would in like a sleek, again, Matrixian leather jacket. So they have that beef as well, is that they don't operate in the same kind of goth circles. There's, again, the vampiric literature goth, and then there is like the type of lichen goth. But they're mixing goths. They're trying to cross over. They're going to each other's dance nights. One of the lead vampires, like I said, is mixing in and betraying his vampiric trust to try to gain power through partnership with a lichen that is supposed to be dead long ago. That plot getting uncovered causes Selene to awaken an elder vamp, which is against the rules and causes a huge kerfuffle anyway. And then the rest of the movie is just kind of how are they going to deal with what's really going on. There's like a lot of why did this happen? What does it mean for the future of our species type of action going on? But the main storyline follows that, right? Which is like the lichen and the lichen and vampire war happening, this kind of mistrust amongst some of the larger members of the current vampire and lichen order, and then how that affects the overall storyline way back in like the prelude, like why did the war even start? Who is Victor? Who is Lucien? And what do we do now? And where does Michael fit into all of this? Another quick spoiler alert, because we're going to wrap up the thoughts on this first movie. It turns out Michael is like the chosen one in this world. So not only is he a total hot hottie that Selene is trying to smooch, he is the chosen one. He is the one that is supposed to become half lichen, half vampire, the true goth that will carry forth all goth unity moving forward. So pretty deep storyline. The powers, the magic, how the vampires and lichen powers work exactly. Like sometimes their eyes change color, and like the vamp eyes change color and go blue, and that like they're using their powers more. It's kind of up and down on how clear the powers are and like how the magic works. I'm having a tough time grasping the finer points of how the magic works between the vampires and the lichens. One of the lichens has the deepest voice that I've ever heard, and I looked up if they modified it. They didn't. The actor just has that super crazy deep voice, which is really cool, and I hope that he's in every movie, because so far he's my favorite lichen. His name is Ray's, and he's a badass, and he just has like an impossibly deep voice. It's like I would consider it like medically deep. I think he has either too many vocal cords or too many lungs or like a diaphragm, like a double diaphragm or something, or just like his voice is too deep. It's so deep. It's unbelievable. But so far, so good. A slightly confusing plot line and like general lore, but the shooting was cool. Selene, Kate Beckinsale's weapons kind of change again situationally. Sometimes they're machine guns, sometimes they're very powerful, like heavy handguns. So that's kind of it, right? We've got this long war happening. We've got these elders that are like constantly jockeying for position, right? And then we've got this, I hope what continues on is like this lichen vampire hybrid plot line. And how is Michael going to be involved in the rest of this? How is Selene going to handle the potential power dynamic changing within both the vampire world and the lichen war zone that she has grown up in? If you're confused by what I'm talking about, it's because I'm confused and potentially trying to follow the plot line too closely, because this movie might just be about leather outfits and gunfights. I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to say it's about way more than that, and I'm going to get too into the lore of the Underworld series. But that's why you come here, is for me to overanalyze things that were probably barely analyzed in the first place. That's why we love them. So I'm going to watch all 5 Underworld movies. I hope you join me. Underworld 2 is up next. I, again, have just dipped my toes into this film series, and it's off to a strong start. Strong, slightly confusing. First movie, but we're going to keep pressing forward. As many of the 7-Day Boogie listeners and viewers know, I've been playing a lot of the extraction shooter Arc Raiders since it's come out. But as mentioned on the channel previously, Arc Raiders wasn't the first extraction shooter that I played. My first kind of experience in extraction shooter playing was Hunt Showdown, the Wild West kind of dark supernatural game where you are in the year 1896 in the bayous or mountains of North America, fighting zombies and wicked monsters and trying to get a monster bounty, and extract with your team before the other hunters in the map can do the same thing and shoot you or blow you up with grenades or set you on fire. And I recently have been kind of dipping back into Hunt Showdown because as much as I love Arc Raiders, that is my main game. Every once in a while, I like to change it up, and I like to revisit other games that I haven't played in a while. And I'm about to tell you a story about a recent game of Hunt Showdown that I had where I was carried to victory. And this one round really kind of encapsulates everything about Hunt Showdown that I love. It has chaos, it has trickery, it has teamwork, it has teammates doing anything but teamwork, death, life, explosions, action. It's got everything you could ask for in the game Hunt Showdown smushed into one single round that I played recently. So we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to give a little bit of commentary on what happened throughout the round, and really just to share a recent experience and showcase some of the things about this game that make me love it. And no matter how many other games I'm playing for however long, something in my mind always clicks, and I just think, hey, gotta hop back in the bayou for a little Hunt Showdown action. So check this out. Here we are, back on Hunt Showdown with my random team, and the map is on fire. But you know the mission. Same as always. Get that bounty and get out. Kill monsters, kill boss targets, even kill other hunters if needed, in pursuit of that bounty hunting glory. This match started pretty normal, moving through the map, killing monsters, collecting XP, and traits which give you powers in this game, such as being able to run further, or pick up a teammate from a distance if they get downed, reload your gun faster, shoot it from the hip like a cool cowboy guy. And as often happens, while we are doing those steps, other teams are doing the same. And based on positioning, they can often get to the bounty before we do. So that's exactly what happens. Another team kills the bounty and starts to banish it, preparing to collect the bounty and extract before we could get there. So what do? We kind of wrap up our little business we were taking care of and start heading that way to try and take the bounty for ourselves. We were successful. My teammates dispatched the first enemy hunter, and I did what I do best. Luckily, shoot a guy right in the face with a shotgun. Now, not every map has 2 bounties, but this map did. So, my teammates and I kind of recouped, get some ammo, heal up a little bit, and we start heading that way to see if we can pull another heist on the other bounty hunter team and get out with all the bounties for ourselves. So we stop by another little supply station and continue our journey as a trio. Or so I thought. My other 2 teammates are randomly selected, but so far we have been moving in unison. Teaming well, pinging dangerous objectives to communicate our thoughts to each other, really kind of getting into the groove. And as we approached the area where the other enemy team was, I kind of just did a quick turnaround, and I noticed this little dot in the distance. And if you don't already know, that little dot was our 3rd teammate leaving us and going to an extraction by himself to leave with the bounty and all the good stuff that we had collected together, which he's totally all right to do. But I thought that we had like a deal that the three of us were going to charge forward to the other bounty team, take them head on, and see who were the best bounty hunters of the day. But that guy just left, which leaves my remaining teammate and I in a disadvantageous 2v3 scenario. Now, as most combat encounters open up, I immediately get headshot. But what happens next is not what usually happens. My teammate not only revives me, allowing me to then get killed again, but he then clutches the fight by killing 3 people on his own.
That's the best shit I've ever seen.
Ooh, holy shit. Good job, buddy. That was crazy.
Yo, don't say good job to me. All I did was die twice.
Rezzing me one more time.
Damn, brother. That was
I am
insane.
dumbfounded, but I am alive. So I thank him repeatedly for his bravery and teamwork, and we head out safely.
Yeah.
Psych! Did you notice that when our third teammate extracted, his login was the Joker? I didn't think anything of it. I have a stupid name on a video game, so why can't everyone else?
God, I still got fucking
That was the fitting name for this person, though, because at the extraction point, the like horse-drawn carriage we used to get out of the map, he had just left it full of so many traps. It damn near took both me and my remaining teammate out. But thankfully, because we had the bounties on us, we were able to perform another revive, getting us both out safely against all odds. 1 round, 1 trio, multiple fights, multiple deaths, multiple traps, multiple memories.
Good game, dude.
That's Hunt Showdown.
What a compelling and bonkers round of Hunt Showdown that was. I'm going to be playing a little bit more of Hunt Showdown. I've got a little plan for Hunt Showdown in the works right now, so we'll see how that progresses. But, my friends, we've talked Underworld. We've talked a little bit of video games. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the 7-Day Boogie. What do I have happening with me, the Boogeyman, in the future? I'm about to go on vacation. The love of my life and I are taking a little beach trip. So maybe next week on the next episode, I will have some stories related to our beach adventures. Who knows? But I wanted to make sure I got an episode of the pod out to feed the land of Boog before I fly away to a distant and magical land. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. I thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Same thing if you're on Spotify or a different podcast platform. I love making this show. I hope you enjoy it. Send it to a friend. Spread the good word of the 7-Day Boogie. Again, thanks for watching and listening. I hope you have a great day. I love ya. Mwah.